Hello. Today is Thursday, April 29th, and we do have a birthday today. Today is Linda Barker's birthday, so Linda, you get a song. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Linda. Happy birthday to you. Cha-cha-cha. Well, I hope you have a great day, Linda. I really do. It's raining here today, and it's going to rain again tomorrow. And I think we're supposed to get rain every day for the next couple days. So, but they say it's supposed to be sporadic in and out. We're doing David's 20th birthday and Aaron's 40th birthday today, and they picked a barbecue, so Jim's going to be outside in the rain barbecuing. Not me. But I wanted to talk a little bit today about strength, because I really do find that I finally realized that, a lot of times I just think that it's all in your mind. It really is all in your mind. Your mind is a powerful tool. It really is. You can convince your mind of anything, and your body will react, because you can think you're going to be sick. And if you think it's strong enough, you're going to be sick. You really are. Well, at least me. I'm speaking from experience. I can make myself sicker than a dog in a New York minute. I really can. But I think that if you tell your mind you can overcome some things. Now, you can't overcome everything. I understand that. Some people have physical limitations. I had to think for a minute. Some people have physical limitations, I understand. And so, therefore, they don't really have the strength to do a lot of things. But in their mind, I think they can convince themselves that, you know what, I can't move as much because I'm in a wheelchair, or I'm on a walker, or I'm on crutches, or I broke my leg, or whatever reason that you have. But you can always figure out something that you can do, whatever your lot in life is. I hope. I really do hope. And now I know that some people have like unbearable physical pain, and so that's just beyond their limit. But you can control how much you eat, and you can convince your mind that you're not really hungry. Like a lot of times you think you're hungry, you're just thirsty. And so I was finding that in the last month of April, that I kept thinking I was hungry, and in reality, I looked back and I could see that I wasn't drinking as much water as I normally drink, because I usually drink at least 2 of these a day, and I told you that I consider them 34 ounces, not 34 inches. 34 ounces, because the one line's 32, and then I figured it's 2 more ounces to get to the top. So I do drink 2 of those every day. I was not drinking 2 of those. I was barely drinking 1 of those, because I kept eating. And every time I ate, I thought, well, I'm full. I don't need any water. So now I know. Now, there's different tricks you can use to get your water in. Not everybody loves water. I realize that. Joan at Joan's Pointed Plate loves tea, as I do too. I drink a pot of tea every day, a whole pot, which I've never measured it out, but I bet you it's probably got to be 3 or 4 cups. But I have 1 decaffeinated tea bag and 1 tea bag in it, so it's not so strong with the caffeine. But what Joan does is she puts her water to the side, and she has a cup of tea. And then before she can have another cup of tea, not that she can't, because she can have it whenever she wants, but she makes herself drink a glass of water, and that helps her out to get her water in. That's a good trick. I prefer to drink out of a straw. I find that if I drink out of a straw, I drink it a lot faster, and I don't know, it just seems easier to get your water down with the straw. Now, when I go out to a restaurant, one day I'm going to be going back to a restaurant. I know that's when I'm going to start gaining my weight again. Not that I didn't gain it in April, but you know what I mean. That I always order my pop, because I always get a pop. I always get a Coke. I always order it with no ice, because you know what? If you get it with ice, they fill the whole glass up with ice, and then when it melts, it just waters down your drink, which is probably a good thing, because then it's not as much sugar. But I like the full taste of Coke. So I always order a glass of Coke with no ice and no straw. So it doesn't take me as long. It doesn't go as quickly. How am I going to say that? It takes me longer to empty the glass out. If I get a glass with, even with a no ice and it has a straw in it, I can finish that in no time. But if I have to pick up the glass and drink it, it does make a difference. Another thing is you could just put a plain tea bag in your water. Put a big jug of water and just put a plain tea bag. It'll kind of flavor it a little bit. Put some Crystal Light packets in it. Put some lemon slices. Some people put cucumber slices, which I don't understand that because there's no flavor to a cucumber. But lemon slices, lime slices, things like that. I have bought in the frozen food department, which are calories and points. So I measure them out just to make sure. But I love the dragon fruit. I love dragon fruit. So they come in like little chunks that look like little ice cubes, and I put them in my drink sometimes. And I figure in the points, and it just helps the water go down a little bit quicker. But you got to take little small steps. And the smaller steps will lead to the bigger steps. A lot of times, if you just take like that one small step of, I'm gonna go around the block for a walk. But then maybe the next day you'll say, maybe I'll go a block and a half. Maybe I'll go around the block and then just go half of it and come back or something. Well, the half of it would be going around the whole block, wouldn't it? But you know what I mean. If you only walk to the corner, then the next time cross the street and then walk a little bit farther. Just tiny little baby steps. Tonight I told you we're doing David and Aaron's birthday. We're having a barbecue. I'm having all of my favorites. But you know what I'm going to do, and I've already decided. I am going to have a tablespoon of each thing that I like. Like a tablespoon because we have a lot. We have potato salad, we have macaroni salad, we have coleslaw, we have baked beans, we have macaroni and cheese, spinach dip, and then the hamburgers, hot dogs, and the Italian sausage. I plan on taking and deviled eggs. I plan on taking a deviled egg, it's going to be 1 point because I use Miracle Whip. And I don't have a whole tablespoon of Miracle Whip in the deviled egg, but I count it as 1 point of the deviled egg. But then I'm just going to take a tablespoon of the potato salad and maybe 2 tablespoons because potato salad is my favorite. And then a tablespoon of macaroni salad and a tablespoon of baked beans and a tablespoon of the macaroni and cheese. Now, it doesn't seem like a lot, but you know what? I'm getting a little bit taste of all my favorites. It's a small step. It's leading me in the right direction because I am going to have a slice of birthday cake. I've already decided that. So I want to hold back on that. And I already made my imitation Starbucks passion fruit iced tea. So I'm going to have that for 0 points. So I got my dinner all planned. So I'm set with that. Like I said, small steps. And they will lead to bigger ones. And the last thing you got to really remember is you got to remind yourself every day, I can do this. I can do this. Sometimes you need to convince yourself. I definitely needed to convince myself of this during the month of April. Because I was kind of falling back into my old way of eating. And then I kept thinking, no, I can do this. I can do better than this. I know I can do better than this. I know this for a fact. And I turned it around last week. I really have been doing a lot better. I really have. And I'm just really proud of myself that, even though I go into my slumps, and I go into them a lot lately, I don't stay in them long. And I think it's because I let my mind convince me that, you know what, you've been in that slump long enough. And so I get out of that slump as fast as I can. I really do. So, but Denise actually stopped by the post office and I got mail. I just sliced it open. I haven't gone into it or anything like that because I wasn't sure how to get into it. So let me see. Oh, it's from Amazon. Let's see if I got it. It says, hello, Sandy. You encourage me every single day. I appreciate you so much. I believe in you. I believe you can do this. From Brandy Granton. Brandy, thank you. You know what? It fits right in perfectly. And I didn't even look in here to see. And it's my inspiration. A year of positive thinking. Because I tell you, you can always, well, not always, but you can always try to find something positive in a negative. I always try to find something positive in a negative. Okay, let's open it up to some random page and see what it says. Well, it goes by dates, but I'm going to read the June 29th date because it kind of fits in. Making mistakes. You are human. You will make mistakes. Hopefully you'll make a whole lot of them because that means you are trying. And trying means you are fully alive. It also makes life a hell of a lot more interesting. It fits right in with our topic, tell you. It's not a coincidence. I turned a positive into a positive because I just think that. But let's see what it says for today. Let me find April 29th. April 29th. Happiness travels. Happiness happens along the route. It's not the stop you get off at. Oh, I like that too. I'm not going to stop and get off. I'm going to stay on this route. I really am. Thank you, Brandy. It's perfect for me. It's perfect. It's perfect for anybody. But anyway, it's a year of positive thinking, daily inspiration, wisdom, and courage by Cindy Spiegel. Definitely is going to be on my stand here, along with my other book here. Let me get it out. My faith book. Let's open this up just at random. Of course, we remember I got this from Patty Casey. Faith is believing in things when common sense tells you not to. 2 perfect messages for today. Okay, I was going to share a story with you today. Before I will share our birthday celebrations with you because I'm so happy that we can do it. Next week is Sebastian's birthday dinner. I'll find out tonight what he's going to pick. But I had to go for my annual, not my annual. I go every 4 years for a colonoscopy. I've been going for colonoscopy since I've been 50 years old. We have a history of colon cancer in my family. And so as a precaution, I had gone, my very first one I went to, I had a sigmoidoscopy. Don't get that one. Don't get that one. If they say, let's do sigmoidoscopy, say, let's just go with the colonoscopy. Because the sigmoidoscopy, however you say it, they don't sedate you. And they put the tube up your back end, and they don't do both intestines. And I know I should know whether the lower is the top or the bottom, but I don't know. Science wasn't one of my better subjects. But they only do the one intestine. They don't go all the way up. I'm going to leave it here what it is. I think it's the small intestine. I think the large intestine is first and then it goes into the small, but I could be wrong. No, I'm going to check. Okay, our science lesson for today. The small intestine comes first, and it digests all of the nutrients and breaks it all down. And what's left over goes into the large intestine, and the large intestine finishes the process. So now we know. But the sigmoidoscopy only goes into your large intestine. That hurt. Maybe not hurt is not a good word. I cramped really bad. Worse than regular cramps. It was... So that when they didn't find anything in the large intestine, and he had said, well, what you need is a colonoscopy. So next year we're going to do a colonoscopy. I thought, back up, Eddie. No, I'm not doing that. Because I remember he says, no, we'll sedate you. You won't even realize that anything's going on. So very hesitantly, I went the following year to do the colonoscopy, which does both the upper and the lower intestine. And they found polyps. So he said, he says, nobody likes to know that they found polyps. He says, but that's a good sign that you came in now because we can treat them when you find them right away, but if you leave them to fester, then they turn into cancer. So he says, and especially since your family has a history of cancer, you definitely should be coming every 4 years, especially since we found a polyp. So I said, okay, so every 4 years, without fail, I go and get a colonoscopy. And every 4 years, without fail, I have a polyp. Maybe one. Last time I had 2, but this time I only had 1. But and then they'd get rid of them right then. And they sent them in. They always send them in just to as a precaution. But they're fine. So I went today to get my 4-year annual or whatever. It's not an annual. Oh, there's Jim. There's Jim.
Hello.
Hello. I'll be right back. So anyway. So I went today, and because of COVID, you can't go. When Jim had his colonoscopy 2 months ago, I was able to go and sit in the waiting room, and I just brought my iPad and I watched movies while he was in there, and he was really quick. His appointment was at 9:15, and we were home by noon. So we're doing, like I said, the family dinner today, and I couldn't eat anything yesterday because the prep is the worst part about the whole colonoscopy, definitely. And it's like, it's bad. It's not bad, I shouldn't say that. It's the worst part. I'll just say it that way. So yesterday I did everything I needed to do for today. I prepped all my food, all of the barbecue food. I made all the potato salad. I put the dressing on the side so that I could mix it today. And I did my deviled eggs. I did everything. I set the table. I made the cakes. Did the brownies. Got everything all set. So that today all I had to do when I got home is just to pop the baked beans into the oven. And the macaroni and cheese. Those are the only two things I had to do. So, and it was good because it kept me from remembering that I didn't have to eat. That I couldn't eat, rather. That I couldn't eat. So I had to go the whole day without eating yesterday. And then at 6 o'clock I had to take the prep. And then by 6:20, well, you know the story. Until 10:30 at night, I was up every 15 minutes. The main bathroom was mine. Off limits, don't go in there. And so then I tried to go to bed early because I knew that I had to get up at 5 o'clock this morning to take the second dose. And I couldn't get to sleep, so I stayed up till 2. Then tossed and turned because I'm thinking, I got to get up in 3 hours. How many people do that? You know, like you instead of sleeping, you kept thinking, I got to get up, I got to get up, I got to get up. So then I got up at 5 to take the second portion of the prep. And I'm thinking, there is no way that there's anything left in me. There's not any way that this is possible that there's anything left in me. So I reset the clock for 9 o'clock because my appointment was, I had to be there at 10:15 and my procedure was scheduled for 11:15. And, oh my gosh, that stuff really works because I never got back to bed. So we took a shower, we got to the hospital, and Jim couldn't come in because of COVID restrictions. And they wanted him to wait in the parking lot. And I said, is he supposed to sit in the parking lot for 3 hours? And they go, well, if you leave a callback number, he can go wherever he wants to go, as long as he's within 15 minutes. Well, Christy lives 15 minutes from it. And the gym that Jim goes to is 15 minutes away. So Jim said, well, I'm just going to go to the gym. Because he packed a bag just in case they would, they told him he could go somewhere. He was going to go somewhere anyhow. He wasn't going to sit in the parking lot. So anyway, my appointment was at 11:15. I got there at 10 o'clock. They took me right in, like at 5 after 10. They got me into the bed, got my gown on, hooked up my IV, put all the gadgets on you and all of that stuff. And the guy across from me, there's only curtains so you can hear everything that's going on. He was saying that he's waited too long. He should have been here sooner. He has a history of colon cancer in his family. He's had all the signs for over a year. But with COVID, he didn't want to come out. He was afraid. So he's been living with this for a couple of years. No, since March of last year. He's had problems, and he said, but I figured I finally need to go in there. Well, his appointment to go in was at 11. No, his appointment was at 10:45, and mine was at 11:15. And they took him right at 10:45. They did not take me until 12:30. I was next in line. I feel bad because I know that guy got bad results. I think that they were in there doing extensive repairs on him. So anyway, oh, and by the way, I am the only person I know that can do this prep, crap my eye teeth out, TMI I know, and get on the scale this morning and find out that I only lost 1.5 pounds. And it's not even a true 1.5 pounds because I'm going to gain it back as soon as I eat something today. I can't believe that. When Jim had his colonoscopy 2 months ago, he lost 9 pounds. 1.5 pounds. So anyway, when you're in the hospital, you got to wear your mask and everything. Even when I went into the procedure room, when they put the oxygen mask up, the oxygen tube on me, they pulled my mask up, like up to here, because my, the nose was blocked, but I had to wear my mask. And then it's a teaching hospital where I go, and they had asked me, you have to sign a permission slip that you can have somebody teach you, like they can have somebody watch you that's learning. And I said, fine, I didn't have a problem with that, because how else are they going to learn? You got to learn on somebody. So I said, yeah, no, I don't have a problem with that. And then, they finally wheel me into the little operating room or wherever it is that they're going to do the stuff. And then these people keep coming in. And I got my whole butt all exposed. It's like I'm all out there for the world to see. And they're coming in one by one, and they're stepping over my tubing and stuff, because it's a very small room. And then I was thinking, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. When the 7th person came in, I said, you know what? If I would have known there's going to be this many people, I would have charged admission. Not everybody gets to see that ass of mine. So they all laughed, and they said, well, we can leave. And I go, no, I'm just kidding. I just didn't think there'd be so many of you. And so then my doctor came in, and his assistant came in, which I knew he was going to come in. So that made it 9. There's probably more than 9. There's probably 10 or 11 in there. It was like they were all crammed up in there. And so he said, you signed a release that these people could be in here. And I said, yeah, and then they ask you, what's your name, what's your birthday, what do you haven't done, blah, 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 all that stuff. And so then the anesthesiologist says, well, I'm going to give you your medication, and so in 14 seconds we won't be seeing you. You won't be seeing us anymore. And I thought, yeah, right. So I'm in my head, I'm counting 1, 2. That was it. I was out like a light. So then, but my cousin Lynn had pointed out, which was a good thought. I never thought of this, but it really does make sense. That since it's a teaching hospital, that he's actually the one because I asked, he's the one that's actually doing the procedure. The other people are just watching to see what he's looking for and stuff like that. You get a more thorough exam because, they want to teach you. They don't want to just say, oh, you do this, you do this, you do this. They want to teach them as you're going along. So I think it was a more thorough exam because they didn't finally take me till 12:30, and I didn't get back into the recovery room till 1:15. And so I was laying in there, and the nurse come to wake me up. And I know this is a long story, but I can never tell a short story. So the nurse come in to wake me up, and she was going, Sandy, because I told them to call me Sandy. I have it written on my chart. I hate being called Mrs. Carrico, and I hate being called Sandra. So I just said, so they have it on my chart, call her Sandy. So then the nurse is waking me up, and she said, Sandy, and she said, they found a mass. And I went, what? And they said, a mass. And I thought, oh my God. So then she left, after she sat me up in bed, and I was so upset because I thought, oh my God, they found a mass. And it's always been a scare of mine every time I go because, like I said, we have the history in my family. They always find a polyp. And I was just so upset. And then another nurse came, and she's got my juice and crackers, and she could see I was upset. And in my mind, I'm thinking, I hope that the mass is at least like a stage 1, that I can really get taken care of really quick. And she comes in, she says, oh my God, you look so upset, Sandy. What's the problem? And I go, well, you didn't look at my chart. Didn't you see I have a mass? And she said, a mass? She says, no, you had a polyp. And I said, well, it must have been a mass. It must have been a really bad polyp because the nurse that was just in here told me I had a mass. And she says, oh my gosh. She said, let me go look at your chart. I could have swore you just had a polyp. So then she brought the other nurse back, and the other nurse said, Sandy, I didn't say you have a mass. I said, that's a mask. Because I had the mask on, and I didn't want it, and I kept pulling it off, and you have to have the mask on. And so every time I pull it down, she'd put it back on my face, and then she finally was saying, that's a mask. That's a mask. So I said, next time you got to go, that's a mask. So I know what you're talking about. So I thought, oh my gosh, it was just such a scare for me. It really was such a scare. But he said the good news is even though it was a polyp, they're smaller than they have been in the past. And so instead of coming every 4 years, I only have to come every 5 years. So now I got an extra year. And I don't know if it's just because I'm older or you think with my history, I'd still be coming every 4 years. But I asked him, and he said, no, you're doing really, really well. And he said, and so I told him a story about the mass. And he said, no, you don't have a mass. He said, yes, a benign polyp that we took care of, it's gone. We'll send it to the lab just to make sure. He says, but I know what they look like. And that one was nothing. So I said, oh, thank goodness. But when I knew I was running late because Jim was supposed to be in the parking lot, I had the nurse call him and tell him, instead of coming back at 12:30, because that's what we were thinking, I said, have him come back at 1:30. And I didn't get out of there till 2:15. But, so that's my story. Only me. That can happen to only me. And I know this is really long, but I really wanted to show you the birthday party. So I'm going to show you the birthday party, and then I'm going to end it there. So I'm going to say like, comment, subscribe, and share right here. And then here's the birthday party. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so happy that we're vaccinated.
29 is no longer in service.
Chelsea, Michigan.
I couldn't find one for 39.
Okay, you can tell him anytime where he's going. Jim.
39 is no longer
Tell
in
David.
service.
Where's David?
David,
They talk though.
front side.
It's an exaggeration, but it's a
And where are the kids?
There's the other birthday.
What the cake?
Oh, you gotta turn the light off.
Ken's?
Turn the light off. Turn the light off. Turn the light off.
No, she's still there.
What? Wasn't here yet.
Probably for the rest of the morning.
Okay.
So she gets in around.
Birthday to you.
Happy
birthday to you.
Cha-cha-cha.
Happy birthday, dear baby. Cha-cha-cha. Happy birthday to you. Clap, clap, clap. Aren't you glad we all sing well?
Okay, take the 2 out, put the 4 in.
Yeah, put that 40 in so we can die now.
I'll just reach out the picture.
He's 240 today.
Don't
He probably feels it though. You need the light on to light the candles there, buddy?
Mr. Sturz,
Can you see the candles or do we need a light?
I can't do it. Here.
That's probably a dud.
I want your tainted badge.
Look at this.
He still knows
Oliver,
how to
turn that
light a
off.
cigarette.
Professional.
He still knows how to light
Second,
a
get in here.
cigarette.
I was gonna say,
Get in here. Let's go.
This means
It's all in his stomach.
Which
You
movie?
feel it.
Okay.
Happy birthday to you.
cha-cha-cha.
Happy birthday to you.
Cha-cha-cha.
Happy birthday, dear Aaron.
Cha-cha-cha.
Happy birthday to you. Pikachu.
Pikachu.
So what's the